16.1 Roles, Responsibilities and Skills of a Coach. Adamson-Edwards. Here we have the responsibility of health and safety. The responsibility of health and safety in coaching consists of many different situations that coaches need to prepare for and so that they can deal with them if needed to be. For example, in health and safety, a coach needs to check the facilities or environment that they are training in. This could be for any potentially hazardous objects or items located on the site of which they are coaching. For example, an after-school basketball club coach would need to check the area so that the players aren't at risk to perhaps injury. Also, the site would need to be checked due to the standard of the organisation. This is because the coach would be responsible for setting a good example for the site that they are working at, so that they are also seen as a health and safety coach. Also, especially with an after-school basketball club coach, as it's a school, there could be litter, especially litter on the floor, or if it's outside, or maybe even inside as well, and so that would be an essential as well. Also, due to the responsibility of health and safety, a coach like a Sunday League football coach has to be aware of weather conditions in advance of a match or training session. This would be so that the coach can be prepared for the effects of the weather conditions, like bringing the correct equipment, or calling off the sessions or match in order to ensure the safety of the players. This could relate to other sports that are affected by weather conditions, like hockey at professional level, where this would be essential before a match or training due to the high standards of the organisation. In addition, a coach in health and safety must also check that they have the right equipment for training session or event themselves, but also for the worst possible scenario. This will involve things like a risk assessment, where a coach must carry out all possible situations that could affect the health and safety of everyone involved. This would lead to the coach having the right equipment like a whistle, a light, a first aid badge and a kit, a phone which has contact information for emergency services and perhaps parents or family and friends of the people involved with the event. Also, this risk assessment would include emergency procedures, like, for example, if there was a fire on the site, for example, a one-to-watch cricket coaching session, then the coach would have to make sure in advance how everyone would evacuate the building calmly and safely, and where to go once they are outside of the building. Another part of the responsibility in coaching of health and safety would be having a constant awareness of the correct technique of everyone that is training or in a match or event. For example, an under-15s rugby coach would especially need to monitor that every player is using the correct technique in the sport due to the heavy level of contact between players and high risk of injury. Additionally, for example, if a rugby player went into a tackle on a player in a match and didn't know the correct technique to tackle, then both the players involved could seriously be injured. This would fall on top of the coach, as they were responsible for the players' knowledge on the sport, and therefore could be penalised and ruin their representation as long as whomever they represent themselves. Also, a coach during carrying out the responsibility of health and safety would also have to be aware of injuries or conditions that the people they are coaching, in case of further harm to them whilst taking part in the session or match type event. This would allow the coach to adapt their coaching methods to work with someone who is affected by injury or medical conditions. For example, at professional level, if someone is injured, then they might adapt the session to allow the injured athlete to work on analysis for the past events, so that they know how to improve on the future, instead of involving them in something that could increase the likelihood of further injury. This could also apply to adults hockey club, where due to the fact that they're adults and if they had an injury, it could cause even more damage due to perhaps the high contact that hockey brings with obviously the hockey sticks and just the general physicality of the sport. Finally, in health and safety, A coach carrying this responsibility would have to make sure that the people that they are coaching are prepared for the activities that the coach is providing. For example, if a coach was about to make a long distance run and take part in a practice run of 2,000 meters, then they would have to ensure that the athlete has taken part in a warm up and is wearing the correct type of clothing, or the athlete would be at risk to their health and safety.